So, Madam Mayor, where are we staying?
We are staying at the Lots Island RV Campground on the Hunter Army Airfield. And it's a small little campground, very rural. So I guess you want to take a walk around and show you what it looks like. It's nothing fancy, but it's right in the heart of a lot of activities and the price is right. So, and there's lots of beautiful trees.
Yeah. So, Hunter Army Airfield is located in Savannah, Georgia. It's the southeast corner of Georgia on the coast. And you're going to hear a lot of background noise, but we did that on purpose. We're not wearing microphones for this video because we want you to hear some of what we hear. So we'll have to speak up to get the decent sound. But do you hear the traffic? And you can even see the traffic. And this is outside the campground area where there's traffic, lots of traffic. And you can hear the noise. So you can hear a lot of background noise. It's not crazy at night. It quiets down quite a bit. We're going to get over here on the road and just kind of walk the perimeter and just talk about the area if you want to do that.
Okay.
I like your shirt, by the way.
Oh, thanks. It's nice and bright. So you don't lose me.
It is that.
You'll see some storm damage.
Yeah, that's one thing we've noticed. You can see some trees have hit some of the picnic tables and have damaged some of either the grills or the fire pits or some of even the posts.
They are a little slow on the cleanup. They were here yesterday or the day before picking up a lot of the debris.
They had a big commercial dumpster and they were loading up the trunks of trees, large trees. You can see here off to the right here a couple of large trees, and apparently that stump on the left that's taller than me landed on this RV. We asked about this RV being towed off and she says it's in the middle of an insurance claim, which obviously they were not home. We understand they were not home when this happened.
Thank God.
But this tree, if you can look at the angle that it fell and you can see the stump in the background. It fell right through here, it would appear.
That was a big tree.
And the other end of it, I noticed a portion of it scraped the base of this tree. And fell across the road here and scraped it right here, portion of it. And you can still see some debris here. Not to say that it's from the same tree, but it likely is. You can kind of see where the leaves have rode themselves here. I think that's just from the water. There must be a low point in the campground. It's kind of on that other side. So this is a fam camp, or if it was on an Air Force base, they call it a fam camp. This is on a military installation. It's the Hunter Army Airfield. Easy for me to say. And it's about 40 miles, maybe less, 30 to 40 miles from Fort Stewart, Georgia. It's part of Fort Stewart, actually. And we wanted to do a walk-around tour of the campground. It's $30 a night or $25 if you have the National Park Pass. It does require an ID card to get on the base. This is on the base. You have to go through the gate. One of the gates is very close to the campground, so as soon as you turn in, you make a left, you're in the campground.
There's also a VA clinic right outside of that gate.
True, yeah, the VA clinic is right outside the gate as well. I mean, you could walk there. That's how close it is. They have several dumpsters over here, and you can see there's a shed here that took a hit. We have noticed Georgia's a little bit slower than Florida getting their cleanup done, but that may be because they don't get it as often as Florida does.
Yeah, Florida's pretty well versed in hurricanes and the cleanup of such, so they're more of a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. So I believe there are 16 total sites here. You have 1 or 2 here at the entry. and then it's just a big loop. It loops into the right, and then it comes around and it comes out the left side. So it's just one loop. Most of the campers, 14 of the sites are there in front of me where you see there's a car coming around there. That's the loop around. And it's one road in, one road out. They do have a monthly rate here at $700 per month. If you want to stay longer than a month, it takes command approval. But that's something the front office can do for you. The front office also is not located here at the campground. It's maybe a couple miles away. Probably the largest distractor, I'd say, on the campground. Overall, we like it. We do like it. We like the cost, and we like the value and the location. It's just a little close to the road noise.
Lots of traffic, road noise. That's the only thing I don't care for.
Yeah,
This is all great. I love the rural, real woodsy feel, so it's like real campground camping.
I do too. Now, if there was a storm coming, I definitely would pull out of here.
Oh yeah, with all these big trees.
They have a lot of overgrown, older trees. Usually these live oaks, a lot of them are live oaks. A lot of them don't succumb to the wind so easily, but they will drop limbs. And these trees they're very similar to the ones they have in Florida. So, I mean, when we woke up the morning we got here, I was like, Therese, you don't want to get up. She's like, why? Because it looks like we're in Florida again. But it does. It looks like Florida. They got the cabbage palm trees here, and the old live oak trees with a lot of moss on them.
I don't mind the look of Florida, so
Yeah.
you wouldn't scare me with that.
Yeah.
It's not the look of Florida that I mind so much as the heat and the rudeness of people.
I was going to say you're being nice. I was going to say the people. And that's not all the people.
No, it's not all.
There's always exceptions.
But overall, and it might be the heat that makes them so rude.
It might be. It's a little cooler up here.
I grew up there, so I can say these things. I've seen
That's right.
lots of different areas of Florida through the times.
You're fully qualified to speak to it.
I do have fond memories in Florida, and there are parts and things about Florida that I absolutely love.
Yeah. Well, we are here in South Georgia, and if you're in the area, and you're able to get on the base, this is definitely a good campsite because of the cost alone, and it gives you good access to the town. Yeah, we'll just kind of walk around and let you see it a little bit. Now, if it rains quite a bit, then this is it's a wet area. They do have Wi-Fi here. Some say they can run their TV on it. Ours doesn't stay connected to it. It jumps on and off. So
maybe if you're in the front of the campground, it's better, but in the back, it's no bueno.
Yeah, we don't know the location of their access point. If it's over by the office, I would think that's too far away. Or if it's somewhere here in the campground, it's probably up in the front somewhere. The campground host is right near the front. Maybe he has the router. I don't know. As you move toward the back, it gets wetter. Now, it was wetter when we got here. It's dried out some.
And that's the wettest spot right there.
Yeah, that seems to be the low spot right there.
But even that campsite was pretty wet when we first got here, and it's dried out quite a bit.
Yeah,
right
so
there.
I don't know, we've been here, what, 4 or 5 days, I think?
Yeah.
And this spot right here was underwater. That guy has since moved, but it looks okay now. You do have roomy spots. The spots have a lot of space. You can see a lot of standing water right here.
Look, that grill got squashed.
Yeah, that grill right there took a hit. But you can see some of these trees were uprooted. A lot of the debris was pushed back into the tree line. So they haven't really cleaned it up yet. And my cousin who lives in the area in Savannah, she was without power for like, I don't know, it was a long time. Wasn't it over a week?
Yeah, it was a bit.
So in Florida, that didn't really ever happen. I think we may have lost power for a matter of hours, but it wasn't days and a week. Certainly wasn't a week.
Well, during that storm, people did lose power. While we were there, you can attest to that. But that
Yes.
particular storm, Florida did lose power too.
Yes.
Just not for that long.
Yeah, they're real quick at restoring the power there. But you can see these were large trees that fell. Look at the size of this tree, the diameter of that tree. And look here, the base. It looks like when they cut it, this was probably pulled out of the ground, and when they cut it, it fell back up. But this has a huge root system. And these are huge oak trees that are falling. These aren't pine trees you expect that from. They can snap.
Do have pine. Look at how huge that one pine tree is right there.
Yeah, see the size of that pine tree?
That's pretty tall.
Yeah, it's pretty tall. And I don't know where this tree fell. It's kind of hard to tell. But they've cleaned it up, but they haven't cleaned it up completely. To me, cleaned it up means they've bucked up all the wood and they've hauled it off. But there's some more trees back there behind that camper that have fallen. This camper wasn't here during the storm. It has only recently gotten here. But you can see even some of these oak trees, they drop limbs as they get older, like this one's dying. So you do have to watch your trees and be careful. There's some magnolia trees here. The limbs on magnolias don't get real big and overhang. There's one tree over our camper that I would be weary of. It was windy yesterday and we were keeping an eye on it, but if they were projecting a hurricane to come through, I would not stay here.
Now, where in relation to the campground, how far is the distance to the commissary and the PX?
Oh yes, that's what I was going to mention. The commissary and the PX are all located on the other side of the airfield. And we are on the, oh my goodness, I'd have to look at a map.
So it's roughly how many miles?
It's about 5 to 6 miles to the main garrison part of the base. We did see the gym. They have a phenomenal gym with 24-hour access.
Yeah, which is nice because most bases don't have 24-hour access.
You do have to. You have to go there when somebody's there, and then they'll issue you an access card for 24-hour access.
Of course, we have not done that yet because we've been busy running around. That's the hard part about being on the road is you don't really have that same schedule that you had at home.
Right.
So it's like you're on vacation. So you have to be very careful with your eating, and then trying to fit in all your regular routines is a challenge.
Yeah. So we wanted to give a good review of this campground. We don't always walk around them. Sometimes we just talk to them, but we thought it was important to walk around them so you can get a scope of the size, and it is probably the cheapest place to stay in the Savannah area for sure. Campgrounds off the base, although we didn't look at them, I'm sure they're much more. And you can stay out at Tybee Island.
Tybee Island.
Is it Tybee? And it's beautiful out there. But
it is obviously priced much more.
Sure
I
it's
did
more.
look it up, but I don't remember the price. I wanted to say it was somewhere between $60 and $75 a night, and that also depends on the seasons. I didn't look up all the prices, but you also are near the water, so
yeah,
you
you're
have
on the
to
coast.
expect a higher price.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect 25. I'm more of a budget guy, as you know, so I like 25 bucks a night. You do get full hookups, full amenities. You get they do not have laundry unit, bathhouse, or any of that. So as long as you're a fully self-contained unit, you have water, you have electric, and you have a dump station on site, every site. So I think it's a good value. You got everything you need right there in your coach.
Yeah, and the whole point is to be out doing activities, not hanging out in your coach. So.
Right. So the Wi-Fi is a bit spotty.
You're here to sleep.
Yep, you're here to sleep. So if you have something, if you have like a satellite internet, I don't know how it would do here. It depends on which part, where you are, and the angle of your pitch to the satellite. But I don't know. I can't speak to Starlink because we don't have it. But overall, a good campground. I give it a thumbs up. I'd give it, on a 5-star system, what would you give it? Would you give it 4 stars?
I would give it 4.
And I'm only knocking off because of the noise. But the noise is more during the day than it is at night, obviously. But we like it. It's very accommodating. The campground itself is very quiet. And I like that it's smaller. Yeah. So I'd say that's a wrap. So how you guys doing today? So we're checking out these bikes, taking them on a little ride, and we really like the way they perform. Here comes Therese. She's riding hers. So how do you like it?
I think I wish I would have had this in Key West.
Yeah, in Key West, these would have been really nice to have. So we've talked about these in a previous video, all the little things about them, but what we like most about them is that they fold up. So you can just flip this down and the handlebars come down, and then you can open it up and it folds up. So you can stick 2 of these in the back of a Jeep Wrangler and you still have a little bit of extra space. So we like them a lot. It's getting ready to rain here, so hopefully they don't get wet.
I know, I want to keep riding.
Yeah, so we're going to go for a little ride. We'll catch you guys on the next trip. So hey, we were out riding our e-bikes, our new e-bikes, checking them out. Anyway, they're behind us.
Having fun.
Having fun. But we wanted to add something to this video because I'm going to turn this around and I want to show you this area. Now this is just down past Lot's campground, 1/4 mile or something, but it ends in this little circle loop, and this is all paved on the outside. It goes in a loop. It comes in right over here. Let me see if I can see it from here. We're almost in the middle of it, so.
It's a fairly large loop.
Yeah, it's a pretty large loop. It comes in right here and it goes across. But this is really an unused area, and I say that because at the end there's a marina, a little marina. Like there's not an office or anything. It's just a boat ramp and some docks, and it looks like a place for 8 to 10 boats, but it's all taped off. Like I guess it's been damaged and they're not going to reopen it. But what a great area. And Therese had a beautiful idea. Instead of just letting this waste away, like right here's the restrooms and everything. So it's plumbed in. And a lot of the infrastructure is already here. And it's got these little, these were probably little, they're not cabins, they're like screen rooms with picnic tables in them and whatnot. And then they got a big one over there, which is right by the marina. There's a playground.
Basketball court.
There's basketball courts back here, and this is all paved. This is a beautiful area. You know what it would make? What do you think this would be a good area for?
A campground.
Wouldn't this make a lovely campground? And what about veterans campground? Like they could live on the base full time, but it could also create revenue
For the base.
for the base instead of just letting it waste away here and do nothing. I would live here.
I would absolutely
This
live
is
here.
on the water. There's water here. There's water all around.
And it's further away from the traffic. It wouldn't be as noisy.
That's correct.
And I would say we haven't been on all the bases, there's so many, but of all the bases we have been on, there's always areas of waste.
Yep.
Why don't they have something where veterans could live and pay a rent in these wasted areas that would create revenue for the base, as well as provide some better housing for the veterans where they have a better community?
Yeah.
And a better sense of self where they can access, because they're already coming here, most of them, for the commissary, to use fitness centers. Why not just have an area where they could live and then use that community for mental health reasons, and having that sense of community and belonging to what they're familiar with?
Yeah.
I think that the military should really look into that.
They should. But it seems like on a lot of bases, and if you look on some of the other sites that review bases, you see more and more people talking about the campgrounds are being, they're letting them go. Like they're not managing them properly, or they're barely managing them. They're not keeping up the maintenance. These veterans, you could put into play some type of contract where they keep up their own grounds.
Absolutely.
So they cut, they trim trees, now liability clauses and all that, you can get around that stuff. Other places do it, they can figure out how to do it for the military. So, yeah, look, there's even concrete pads. I've seen at least 2 of these. Now these are small pads, and I don't know what they used to be. Maybe they were picnic tables. But these could be used as porch pads. So I bet you could get at least 150, 200 trailers in here. Yeah. This is a large area. It's probably 10 acres right here.
Also, a lot of the bases are contracting out the maintenance for the housing and everything nowadays.
Yeah.
They could look to employing veterans to do that type of stuff.
They absolutely
could.
Like,
because I know they pay a lot for those contracts.
And this is some prime real estate right here.
It really is.
Because you got water, like I say, you got the marina over here, and then there's water. This is all marsh. But in Georgia, the expensive homes are on the marsh. That's a thing. That's like being on the water, on the lake, on the river. So all of this is a marsh area. This is Interstate 204 right here. If you can see it in the background, I can see the traffic back there. That's 204 going into Savannah. Savannah is this way, and then I-95 is that way. It's about 6 miles apart. So you're in a good area here. And this is all marsh. There's a bridge that goes all the way across the marsh to the other side where you can see the wooded trees. But this is just a beautiful area. It's mostly shaded. The trees here are no worse off than the trees that are at the Lots Campground.
Or at any campground across the whole planet. I mean,
right.
That's something that campgrounds usually come with, unless you're building it in a flat nothing land. But I think they should do a pilot program and test it out.
Yes.
And see how it goes.
I think it would be a huge success. And if it fails, it's going to be on management, because they just can't manage. But I'd say the MWR rep, whoever that is, should grasp this concept and take it up the flagpole, and I think they should run with it. Make it their little pet project.
I think it's worth trying out.
And I don't think it would take a whole lot of funding to get it started.
Not for a campground. It's not like you're building houses.
No, you're just building lots. And if the septic system is an issue, then you don't have to put sewer to every drop. You can work on doing that, but maybe just have a dump station.
I think it would be good.
Yeah, they could even locate the dump station at the other campground, because they're so close. You can drive between them, but this is at the end of the road.
I just hate going on so many bases and seeing so much waste.
Yeah.
And then you go on the outside and you see these older veterans, especially, where they don't know their sense of purpose and they alienate themselves. And if they were here, it would be familiarity for them, and they could have a better sense of community.
They definitely could build a community, and what a great community it would be.
Yeah.
Man, I think we're onto something. I wish I could do this, but I can't do it alone. I mean, the project managers on this base have to, talk to those people, and they have to table talk this to the bosses and see what they can do. Of course, they're going to say allocation of funds. Okay, we'll move funds around. You can make it work if you want it to. Make it happen.
Well, all you can do is plant a seed and see if it grows.
Yeah. Put a military project officer, an ex-military retired project officer in charge of this. Somebody would love it. Somebody would make this very successful.